This is a book by me and all those who collaborated with me. It's a book that allowed me to get out of myself, because at the beginning I wanted total control of everything. At the end, I had no control. And I love that. It just created itself. So you are at a time period in the world development where you can create your own work, create a work using all different kinds of media. It's meant to excite you, inspire you, to go out there and present yourself in a manifestation of the spirit to the world. Because most of these poems were animals manifesting themselves to me. They came to me. I did not call them. They just showed up one day and stayed with me until I wrote something about them, which was a month, a year, maybe 2 years, a couple years, and they turned out wonderfully. I got the idea for this book because I needed a new manuscript. I have several manuscripts of different subject areas, but they were summarily rejected again and again, so I decided, well, I needed something new. And so I had never created a manuscript on animals, and I said to myself, well, maybe you've written some poems since the 60s on animals, and I called through files and files and files of poems that I've written, and I found that I must have had 60 poems on animals. I spread them out on the living room floor, and I put them and sorted them in piles. I basically did something that I've never done before, is I used a dowser. The dowser has been speaking to me, or has been very helpful to me, and giving me an idea of where to send poems, and I had to eliminate some poems. And my friend Lynn Hoynes, who was also a poet, said to me, well, John, let me see your manuscript and let me look at it. And so she became my editor. And then she said, well, you talked about making this an art book, or making this a different type of book that would be appealing to others. And so she recommended Todd Vogel, a photographer, a professional photographer. And so Todd went about putting all these poems in certain sections in Publisher. And then I had met Shelley, who's an artist, and she had a painting on foxes, and I have one of these poems on foxes. And then in my voyages to Vermont Studio Center, I met Rob Stoller, who's an artist, and I first asked Rob if he'd like to do the book, entire book, and he was very busy. He said, no, I'll do one of the poems. And so he did the turtle poem, which was a spiritual experience that came to me. And so all those are included in that book. In a sense, they all collaborated with making this book. So it's just not a book by John Fitzpatrick, it's a book by Rob Stoller, it's a book by Todd Vogel, it's a book by Shelley Miser, it's a book by Lynn Hoynes. I just put my name on it.